Sup nerds! What's up guys? Today, as you guys saw by the title, we'll be doing my April reading wrap up as well as my March TBR. So last month I kind of did them separate and I wasn't obsessed with that. I feel like, I don't know, I wasn't obsessed. So this month I'm going to put them together. It also was hard because I'm like, when do I post which one? I didn't want to post, since I'm only posting once a week right now, I didn't want to post one the first week of May and then the other one the second week of May because that's already like super late in my opinion. So for now we're gonna combine them. Let me know how you guys feel about it. First, if you guys like this video though, hold on. Let me know how you guys like it. If you guys like this video, if you guys like book content, booktube, the whole nine, definitely hit the subscribe button. And then if you like this video, hit the subscribe button. I'm working on my intro, okay? I'm working on it, but we're getting there. We're doing a little bit better, but we're working on it. Anyway, subscribe and like. And yes, let's just get started. I've been makeup filming this morning, and so we're just kind of chilling right now, just hanging. I am going on vacation, and so there won't be a video next week, but in 2 weeks we will have another video, and I'm very excited for that video as well as this one, so stay tuned for that. Okay, let's start off with my April TBR, my April reading wrap up. So I'm just gonna have to accept the fact that I probably won't read every single book on my TBR, and not because I don't make it in time, but because there are always other books I read instead. So I've been averaging about 6 books per month, which is okay for now. I want to read 100 books this year. And if I read 6 books every month, I would not make the cut. But I wouldn't make the cut. But I want to, and so I'm a little bit, some months I read more than 6 books. This month I've read exactly 6. So it might even itself out, but I want to read 100 books. So I have to kind of step it up, like put the pedal to the metal. Is that the word? So anyway. All of that being said, I did not read every single book. I missed 2 books on my TBR, which is completely fine. One of them I knew was like negotiable. I was like, I probably will read something else. The other one I should have read, but I didn't want to read. So anyway, let's just go on with the books I read. The first book I read was the Emily Henry's The People We Meet on Vacation. I think this is the stupidest title. I just spit. The stupidest title for this book because honestly, the title has nothing. I mean, it barely has anything to do with the book. And I understand, like, at one point she mentions, that's my favorite part of vacation is, like, the people we meet. But I'm like, that's so stupid. No, the favorite part of vacation is doing it with the guy. So shut up. Like, what are you talking about? I'm very passionate in this. I'm in a passionate mood right now. Anyway, it's such a dumb title, in my opinion. It has nothing to do with the book. I enjoyed this book a lot. I thought it was super, super cute. This is really unique where the 2 main characters are actually start off as best friends. They're really close friends. They're like the only friends they have in college. Like they're nerds together. And although they don't have like everything in common, they like complement each other perfectly. They live in the same town. Like, so they end up being best friends and they go on vacations as best friends or whatever. And then something happens during this one trip and they stop being friends. Now, this book starts off as them being friends, and then it goes, the next chapter, well, I don't know how many chapters pass, basically, but eventually there's a chapter that starts the book off, but it's like, starts as they're not friends. And so the thing that annoyed me about this book is every other chapter, or I think it was every other chapter eventually was going back in time. So it would be current, and then it would be 10 years ago, current, 9 years ago, current, 8 years ago, and that just annoyed me so bad. Like, I understand I wanted the background, and so maybe it would have been better like if I had a chunk of background and then chunk of present, because I didn't like going back and forth every freaking chapter, because I'm like, I just want to know what happens. Like, why would you jump back like that? And so I know like sometimes it's suspenseful, and I'll show you another book that honestly did it way better than this book, and it wasn't every chapter though. But anyway, it was like, it creates some suspense during some chapters, but not every chapter. Sometimes I would skip it and then have to go back to read it just so I completed the book, but I would just like skip it so that I didn't have to read it in that moment or so I could follow the story for a second and then go back. You know what I mean? So it was just annoying. This one I marked. I wanted to do this for a while because I saw like a bunch of people when I was starting to get into books more, I saw a bunch of people who like would like mark their books. I do not want to write in my book, but like I have a little sticky note here because this chapter is so freaking funny. She's super super sick, and it actually made me laugh like out loud. Like I laughed for a good minute. I read this part over and over again. But she's super super sick and she pees in her bed, and then so he like helps her clean up the bed and like he helps her shower. Like he was so freaking cute. And then eventually they're having a conversation where they're like laying in each other's arms, super super cute. But she's like, I can feel your heartbeat, and he's like, I can feel yours. And their response is, I'm sorry I peed the bed. And I just died because I'm like, that is so freaking funny. That's something I would say, like so awkward, like, oh my gosh, like you're so warm. Oh, you're so warm. And then I'm like, sorry I peed in the bed. Like I would be so embarrassed. But it was a super cute friendship, and so I marked that because that made me laugh and it brought me so much joy. But it was a good start to the month. I like Emily Henry in there. You'll see a couple other books that I want to read from her as well. But it's just like, this book wasn't my favorite. Okay, then I read another good book for the month, which was Ali Hazelwood, Love on the Brain. I also love Ali Hazelwood. I think you'll see more books from her as well. I really like this book a lot because she then had me. There was a moment where I was like, this is so stupid. If this is the plot twist, like I knew it the whole time. Like it's not really a plot twist. And then when the plot twist happens, I'm like my jaw was on the ground because you never believe it. She does write like the ones that are. This one's Love on the Brain. The other one was like the Love Hypothesis. Like they're very scientisty. They have a lot of scientisty words, and I honestly enjoy it. I mean, I don't mind it too bad, but I'm like, okay, I don't know what the heck that means, or like what the heck. I don't know if that's accurate, but I mean, I'll take it because I don't mind. But it is super super cute. It's kind of like Emily's enemies to lovers a little bit, and so they didn't. Well, she like thought he hated her. He didn't actually hate her. Of course, he loved her, and so like the kind of plot you can understand, he ends up like needing her for work, then the work kind of goes south. Like it's a lot of things, but then they end up liking each other. Then she of course is like, I thought this was a fling, and he's like, no. And so blah blah blah. She also like passes out a lot, which is honestly a funny twist because it is so cute. There's a scene where the plot twist happens, and he tells her, he's like, go sit on the couch, and she's like, can you back up? She's like, okay, well, why? And he's like, because when you pass out, I'm not gonna be able to catch you, so I need you to sit on the couch. And I'm like, that is so cute. Like he thought about, he wasn't able to do it himself, but it was so cute. So this is a really fun book, and I think this is a really fun read. If you're a little bit nerdy, if you're just a love story lover, this is a really, really good one. You know what I'm saying? So I really love that a lot. Then this one was not planned, but I did end up reading this massive freaking book. This is called The Fine Print from Lauren Asher. So I actually have a friend on Instagram who recommended this book. If you guys do not follow my Instagram, definitely follow my Instagram. We could talk a lot more on there, honestly, a little bit more in depth, a little bit more conversation, and definitely recommend any books you have because I love reading, obviously. So there's that. Anyway, she had recommended this. Then I joined a group on Fable, which I did read this with, which it wasn't my favorite way to read. I didn't love reading and then like writing up my responses, but they are, but anyway, so I read that that's why I finally pulled the trigger and bought this book. Again, it's called The Fine Print. This is like it's like an individual book series where they're three brothers, so each brother has their own stories, but it's not like you don't need to read them all, basically, because you get the whole story and then you get the finish of it in this, but they all have 3 tasks that they need to do, so you read how they each fulfill those tasks, basically, and then their relationships and those kind of things are all individual in each of their stories, so they are different, but they're like basically they all tie to the same story, the same place, basically. But I really enjoyed this book. It's massive, honestly. I wouldn't read it again. I do think the author, I do think there was a little like if this is a good book, it was like right under the line for me. It's hard to tell too because I read it like the way I read it. I read it the way along with Fable, so I read like a chapter, I would write some like a response to it and like that kind of thing, so it kind of broke the book up a little bit. But I think just the character for me, I think the main guy character was just a little bit wrong. Like he was just a little bit like, I wouldn't have written him that way, and I'm not an author. I'm not a freaking, this is not a best-selling book, is it? Well, anyway, I'm not a writer, and so, I mean, I do dabble in a little bit of writing, and I've read quite a few books, so I feel like I know what I'm saying, but I feel like And I've done a lot of like character analysis and that kind of stuff. So I feel like I'm right, but I also obviously I'm not. I've never written a complete book like this. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard. But I feel like Rowan is his name. I forgot. And I feel like it's literally right here. But I feel like he was just a little bit, something was wrong with him. Like it feel like if he was a real person, I would be like, yo, he got problems, because like it was a little bipolar. Like and I understand where she wanted to take him, because it's like this mean bad boy kind of like I hate the world kind of guy, but like he really like appreciates the girl, and like he finds love for her, and then it changes him. Like that's the vibe I think she was going for, but I think he missed the mark a little bit because he was a little bit too rude, like a little bit too cross the line. And like Zahara, the main girl, she looks like an idiot kind of like going back to him, and you're like, what? But the story is so unique. It's I honestly, I hate the title of this, and I also hate the background, because the cover doesn't do it justice what kind of story this is, which is really cool. It's basically, everyone says basically Disney, but it's like it's like a theme park. He owns a theme park, whatever, and the grandfather who owns it dies and gives them 3 tasks before they can get their inheritance money, and he has to complete his task in this one, but ends up obviously falling in love. But it's cool because you get to, like, it's a cool different perspective from a normal love story. There is a little bit of spice in this too. I just wasn't like obsessed, you know? It was good, but I wasn't like obsessed. Okay, I think I need to go a little bit faster. But anyway, next I read I Am Number 4. This was the 4th book I read, and I did not do that intentionally, but you'll see why it's super, super funny. This is from Pittacus Lore. I wanted to read this, and I'm so glad that I did, because honestly, I really like this book. I think that it's a very like basic, plain Jane kind of story. But the way, first of all, the plot is so unique, because you know, you have like your mythological creatures and like your fate, whatever, those kind of books, but this one is cute, and you have like obviously the stories where it's a love story and whatever, like those kind of things, they fall in love, and those kind of things are so cliche and basic. But the way he does this is so amazing, because the villains and stuff are so unique. They live on like the aliens. It's just so cool. You're just like, there's nothing like this. There's no books like this, and I appreciate that. I've read a lot of you know, you have the Hunger Games, you have Divergent, you have the Twilight. It's like you have all these like series that are very unique in their own way, or the Harry Potter, they're wizards, like so many different things. This one fits right there with them. I just think the movies failed, which is why people are not talking about this so much. But I love this, and I honestly I'm glad I read it. Basically, I won't talk too much about that, just because I think I'll do a video, probably I'll do more videos with this book specifically, but also with the series when I finish it. But I also read, again, I won't talk too much about this, Life and Death from Stephanie Meyer. I love this book so much. I did an entire video dedicated to this book because I love it. If you have not seen it, it was my last video that I posted last week, so definitely check it out, because I talk deep into this book and I love this book so much. One of my favorites ever, and 10 out of 10. Then number 6, again, I was not planning this, but this is The Power of 6 from Pittacus Lore. So I read 4 and then 6, number 4 and number 6. It was so not intentional. But at first I was like skeptical to start this book, but I'm so glad I honestly bought both of these at Barnes & Noble's a few years ago, and I was like, well, if I read the first one, I like the second one, I'll have it already. But I was not going to read it because, well, I'm not going to read it yet because I didn't know. I thought the perspective was completely someone else, and I was like, oh, that's so annoying. Like, I thought it was going to be not the same story. I thought it was going to be like, the main character was still going to be with the other person, but it was just going to switch perspectives, so it was just going to be like the girl that's hanging out with I don't know how to explain it. So there's number 4, there's number 6, and then there's Sam. Them 3 are on this journey together after this book. So it's them 3. I thought it was going to be, and so in this one, it's number 4's perspective. I thought the next book would be the same, like the journey, the next following things, but like in 6's perspective. Because it's called The Power of 6, and then I thought it was going to be like all of them together, but it's not like that. So 4 still does have a perspective in this. It's just every few chapters, and this is where I think the other book I was talking about, Emily Henry, People We Meet on Vacation, this one does it better, where you get a few chapters of one character, and then right when the ball's about to drop, it changes perspectives, and it's actually cool. I do think he should have he changed the font between perspectives, so you can tell a little bit the different fonts. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to tell. Yeah, you could tell. It's like so hard. So you could see, you can't even see that, but that is the first perspective, and then this is the other perspective. The font is like slightly different, but he doesn't like title the pages like who it is. So you can obviously tell when you start reading, but at first sometimes you're like, wait, what? And then you're like, oh, duh. So that's what I think his downfall was. But I do think that this did I even say whose it was? So number 7 is actually in this book a lot. She is the other perspective. So she's living a completely different life. And then also it'll go her at school, at church, or whatever she's at, doing her thing. And then it'll go back to like 4 with his friends doing his thing. So like you get both, and I appreciate that. And I honestly, at the end of the book, I ended up only wanting to read the other perspective, which is funny because I was like, I didn't want to read it at all, but I ended up only wanting to read the other one. And so I really liked it. I think the story was great. They did a good balance between the two. I think they both were interesting enough that you wanted to keep reading the next chapter, whether it was hers or his, for the most part. And then, you know, something happens, they get split up. Like, it's just so fun. I'm so excited to read the next one. And I honestly, yeah, I'm very excited to read the next one. Again, I'm probably gonna do a video with the series. I mean, yeah, a video with the whole series when I finish it. Just because I don't have a fresh enough series to do that with that I just freshly read. So this one is fresh. That I'll probably do a video with that one. But anyway, so those are the books that I read in the month. The 2 books that I did not read were, I don't have them with me, The Lost Hero from Rick Riordan I didn't read, which I knew I wasn't going to read. And then the first Harry Potter book I did not read. I did not know it's in 3rd person. I did not know that. I feel like that's something you should know. But I just didn't know that. And so when I started to read it, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. I was like, yeah, no. So I didn't read it. And I know I'm going to have to read it eventually because I have to read the Harry Potters, but just not right now. I decided, that was the idea too, like pick which kind of series I wanted to stick to and read that one. And I definitely want to read that. I'm number 4, so that's okay that I'm not reading Harry Potter right now. I'll read it eventually. Okay, so for my May TBR, I have 3 of the books here. I don't have the other 3, which I said I was not going to do that anymore, but there's a justification. There's a reason why I have to do it this way. Anyway, so first things first, I do want to read Yours Truly from Abby Jimenez. I did pick it up when it dropped. I needed it so bad. Again, was supposed to be on a book no buy, but I did end up not having to, but I ended up buying the fine print because I wanted to do it with the book, and then I bought this at the same time, Abby Jimenez Yours Truly, because when it dropped, I was like, I'm not missing this release, and if it goes out of stock, I will kill somebody. Like, I need this book. So I bought this, and I'm excited to read it. I'm not even going to read anything about it because it's probably going to be what I read first, and I want to go in with a fresh mind. And yes, so I'm very excited about this. I love Abby Jimenez. She's my favorite. That'll be one of the first books I read. I probably will take that on vacation with me just so I have something fun to read. Okay, again, I told you I have more Ali Hazelwood. So this was the book that I was like so annoyed with when I was doing my current book wish list. Because this one said like it would take 1 to 2 months to ship or something obscene. I was so confused, but then I found it at Target for like $13 or something like that. It says $17, but if you make sure, if you're buying books at Target, go online. The Target online is usually the same price as Amazon, but obviously if you're in store, you can get the price matched to the Target online, and they'll price match it for you, and it's the same as Amazon, but you get to go to the store. So that's why I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it because I was there. I also shouldn't have bought this, but I did buy it as well. Because again, I was like, I'm going to take it on vacation, and I don't want to not have something if I want to take it on vacation. But this is a cool one. Again, there's all STEM related, this series, but it's actually 3 different stories. So they're like, it's like basically like if you like split the book up like this, it's like this is one story, this is one story, and this is another story, all 3 different like group of characters. And I thought that was super unique. I've never read any book like that, so we'll see if I like it, because obviously it's not a book. It's like 3 books she decided to put together. Like I think you can get them separately if you wanted, but I was like, it's one book, like it's basically the size of one book, so might as well just read it and count it as one book. So I'm really excited about that, honestly. I might take this one on vacation. I don't know, I can't decide. But again, STEM related. I'm not going to read too much. This one just says, Under One Roof, which is the first one, is an environmental engineer discovers that scientists should never cohabitate when she finds herself stuck with the roommate from hell, a detestable big oil lawyer who won't leave the thermostat alone. So that's so freaking funny. And then Stuck With You, which is the other book. A civil engineer and her nemesis take their rivalry and love to the next level when they get stuck in a New York elevator. That's so funny. And then Below Zero, a NASA aerospace. I can't read very well. Aerospace engineer's frozen heart melts as she lies injured and stranded at a remote Arctic research station, and the only person willing to undertake the dangerous rescue mission is her longtime rival. So cool. And there's an exclusive bonus chapter. So I'm very excited to read that. Oh, we'll read all of those. Okay, and then I also told you I'm going to get more. I got more Emily Henry. This is Book Lovers. So my teacher, she's my favorite. I had her in high school. Actually, middle school and high school. And she just she encouraged my love for books for sure. And she would always have a book. Like, she always had books in her classroom. So I remember her just reading so many of the books she had. And now, like, out of school, she's like, follows my Instagram. Like, she's like so supportive. But I had read the People We Meet on Vacation, and I was like, I don't really like this. And she commented, like, Book Lovers is my favorite from her. Like, you need to read it. And so I was like, okay, absolutely. So again, I got it at Target. I also price matched this, so I got it for like $10. And I love. I'm so excited to read. I love this book, and I really am excited to read this. I love that teacher, and this makes me so much happier and more excited to read it. So again, I'm not gonna read too much about this because I want to read it like fresh in the brain. There was another book I read from her that I did enjoy, so I feel like this will be the deciding factor for me. Like, do I love her books or do I hate them? I feel like it's gonna be good though. If she loves it, then I feel like I'll love it. So I'm excited about that. I wonder, oh gosh, is it the same kind of thing? I just saw 2 years earlier. I hate that. Like, why do you do that? Okay, these all looks like normal chapters. It might just be one flashback, which is not that bad. Like, a flashback or two is not bad, but I feel like every other chapter is obscene. Anyway, I'm excited to read that. So those are the 3 that I have that I will probably read definitely first. And then I can't decide which book to get next. So I definitely want to, I don't know if I'll post it. I definitely eventually want to get The Rise of Nine from Pittacus Lore. So this is the 3rd book of the series, of the I Am Number 4 series. I definitely want to keep reading it. So I don't know if I'm going to get that like as soon as possible, but there's 7 books. So I have quite a ways to go. And I definitely, like, it's so interesting that I want to keep reading it. I just can't decide if I want that. This one I know I'm going to read and get for sure. So this is The Sun and the Star from Rick Riordan and Mark O'Sharo. I don't know who that is, but I'm definitely getting this. It just doesn't release until May 2nd, and so I have to film this before I have to film this the Saturday before the week. I can't film the day of, basically, and so that's why I'll have it by the time this video goes up, but I won't have it. I don't have it by the time I'm filming, so that's why it's a little bit annoying. And that's why I said, like, you'll understand why I don't have the rest of the books, because I'm gonna get this. It just doesn't release until May 2nd, and so I have to buy it. I'm gonna buy it a few days before, maybe the 1st, and so that it does get delivered by the 2nd, because it says you get free release day delivery Tuesday, May 2nd. So I'm excited about that. It's $16, which is, oh my gosh. But it's not that bad. But I definitely want that. I'm definitely going to buy that. So that'll be the 4th book. But then I have 2 open spots. I just don't know what to do. I really want to read this Chemist by Stephanie Meyer, which is only like $12. And I love Stephanie Meyer, and I thought this book was so unique. It's super like it's like a calling me. The book cover is calling my name. So I might get that one. And then the last one that I might get is also the same group that I read the fine print by, is reading the 2nd book, Terms and Conditions, from Lauren Asher, which again, it wasn't my favorite book, so I'm like, is the 2nd one going to be worse? I don't know. The 2nd book of the series is always worse. In my opinion, is most of the time worse, so I don't know if this one's going to be bad, but then I'm like, I feel like now I have to finish the series. I don't know, so we'll see. If I bought all 4 of those, I would spend $55, which is not so bad, because the Lauren Asher book is $16 as well. The Sun and the Stars is $16 as well. So I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but those are all options. We'll see. Because maybe if I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, if I read all of them, then I'll read 7 books this month, and that'll be good. So I can't decide. But anyway, that is really it for this video, guys. Let me know what's on your May TBR, if you read any of these books this month, if you use Fable to read along. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know. All the juicy tea. I think that's everything, guys. Just let me know. Let me talk to me. Let me know what you're reading. Follow my Instagram. Let's have a combo. Let me know all the juicy tea. And yes, bye nerds. Peace.